Does it matter for you if the main character, so as a female, does it matter to you if the character was a male or a female? And if it's a female, do you feel more drawn to it? It's like, I think this is the new game. Horizon, yes. So because the main character was a female, did you feel like, yes, victory, and now I could relate more to this character? Does that matter, or does that not matter to you?
It does a little bit. So I think I care more about how this character is in the story than I care about this is a female or this is a male. So actually, no, let's step back. I don't appreciate when designers or writers or whatever automatically default to straight white male. Right? So because that's happened for a very long time.
Right.
When they start thinking about writing something, that's their default.
Right.
They don't think maybe the story is better suited for a woman, or maybe the story is better suited for someone of a different race or a different ethnicity or a different sexual orientation, religion, background, whatever. You know, I don't like the fact that so many game writers or whatever, you know, whoever is writing the story or coming up with it, defaults generically to that.
Right. And we become so conditioned to it as well. Like,
you're just used
expected.
to. You're just used to playing it. And even like Japanese designers don't have Japanese characters.
That's
like they're mostly
right.
like Western looking characters.
That's right, yeah.
That are very white.
That's absolutely right, yeah.
So I don't like that. I like now that there's being more awareness about this, and you'll find now more female-led games. You'll find more representation of different, you know, backgrounds in the games and stuff like that. It's happening, and people are very conscious about it as well.
Yeah.
So when they start to write, they don't think straight white male. They think, this is the story I want to tell. Which character can tell it best for me?
Right.
And this is what I like. Like, this is the direction that I think is best, because you don't want to have a token culturally diverse character. That's like the worst thing that you could do, because then you're falling into stereotypes. Then it's just like an obvious way to try to be inclusive. You know, like you'll have, I don't know, like 4 white guys and 1 black person, and that's like your token black person, you know what I mean? And your token cultural diversity or whatever. And it just sucks, because no, like he's not there to be your token. He can do so much more in this game. So yeah, like this is kind of the direction where the industry is headed, and I feel like it's also entertainment in general is going there as well. So you'll have more powerful females in TV shows and movies and stuff like that, and that's amazing, right? But would I change games? Like, for example, The Last of Us. It was obviously leading straight white male. He did have a partner, which was like a young female, which was really nice. But would the game have worked better if he was a woman? No. Because the story is about like this father-daughter relationship. Could he have been African American? Yes. You know? But I wouldn't. You're talking about gender, so I wouldn't want him to be a woman, because it changes the dynamic, and the story is about that dynamic.
I guess it does depend on the dynamic of the story. If it serves a story, right? Then
if it serves a story purpose, then that's nice. When I'm playing RPG games and I get the choice, I always choose female. Because especially with RPG games, you feel like you're making the choices that you would make in real life, or you're going on this journey and you're playing it the way that you actually would have lived there or whatever. So I feel like I would want a character that represents me, so female.
So do you think, when you're saying the industry is moving towards a, more racially diverse, gender diverse, and so on, how is that how's the community taking that? Because there's some. So I go online and I see the political debates that happen between people, and some people don't like that, there's a lot of bowing down to sort of like these pressures of gender equality and whatever. Some people think why are you changing our experience and so on. And some people on the other side say, yes, we should do this. We're a more diverse society, we're a global community, and so on and so forth. So how did you find that? From you interacting with the community much more than me interacting with that community, did you see some kind of backlash, or did you see some kind of it's cool, let's do this? How did you feel about that?
Okay, so clearly, because there are evil people in the world, you're always going to have a backlash against inclusion. That's just, because just people are weird, right? for example, a very, very good example of this is Star Wars Battlefront. So they announced that the second one's going to have a campaign, and then they revealed that the lead is a woman, is an African-American woman. And so my first reaction was, this is amazing, right? And I go online and I go on Twitter, and everyone's saying this is amazing. And it's just like a joyful occasion, everyone's happy and whatever. But then what ends up happening is you have these trolls in online communities, you have people tweeting and whatever. But then what happens is people start retweeting them to show you how stupid they are, right? So, I mean, obviously, Twitter is sort of like little echo chambers. You only follow people who you agree with.
Right, yeah.
So that's, for me, it's mostly people who are kind of liberal, pro-inclusion, whatever. So, my timeline was really good at the beginning. And then they started retweeting someone saying, oh my gosh, another female-led whatever, like someone just being nasty online. And I understand that your purpose behind this is to say, oh, look at how stupid this is. But then somehow my timeline changed from this is a great thing to people showing me how many people there are in the world that don't think that this is a great thing.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I mean, it's really weird though. Like it gets a lot of people pissed.
Yeah, it does. And then the problem is that people who aren't pissed start sharing and propagating the messaging of people who are pissed.
Right, so legitimizes their voices.
They have good intentions. Their intention is to say, look at this asshole, we're not like this asshole, don't worry about this asshole.
Right.
But you're showing me this. Like, I wouldn't have seen it if you didn't put it on my timeline.
That's right, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what I would want is for people to stop seeking this, or to, even if they seek it, to stop propagating it. To just let it die.
Okay.
And what you could do that's even more powerful is to keep the positive messaging going.
Right.
So
I have a question for you. So when you let those voices die, are you not being inclusive as well? Do you know what I mean? Like, because we have to hear everybody's voice, right? We have to say that, all right, you don't want another female character, but why? Like what's your reasoning behind that? Is it because you feel threatened by it? Is it because you feel like you can't relate to gaming anymore? Like, what is it that gets people riled up? And I think, like, I don't know, I feel like we should hear everyone out, and see how we could sort of... I feel like this conversation's going into another direction.
No. The thing is, I mean, I hear you. And I totally agree in 99.9% of situations where, if someone has an opposing opinion, my initial reaction isn't to say, you're wrong, my opinion is correct, and I'm not going to hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
That's totally not my reaction.
Okay.
But at the same time, there are people whose opinions come from places of racism or sexism.
Okay,
just
cool.
general hate.
I get you. Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
And those opinions are wrong.
I get you.
And they need to...
So they need to die.
I don't mean that people need to die. I mean they need to be enlightened.
Right. The opinion itself needs to die. Yeah.